herself. Instead, she orders the dwarves to tidy up themselves, even when they've had a hard day down the mine.
It's their house.
I haven't seen it yet, but I would lay even money. The moment Prince Charming moves in for the kiss while she's asleep, he gets arrested.
Yeah, exactly.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Hope all's good wherever you are. So in this video, we're going to watch a clip of the Piers Morgan show where he had Nerdrotic, Critical Drinker, Esther Kraku, and LGBTQ representative James Barr on the panel, where they talk about the abomination that is the new Snow White live action film. As of the time of recording this video, the trailer, I think, is one of the most disliked trailers in history, if not the most. It's got over 1 million dislikes. The comment section is just vile. And this film has become everything wrong with Disney in 2024. Let's get into it.
Well, welcome to you all. How are you, James? You missed me?
Hello.
Did I miss you, Piers? Not really. And this whole Snow White thing is just performative outrage. It is...
Actually, you're right. Do you know what? We're going to start the new autumn season, if you like, of this, or the fall, if you're watching in America, with a point of immediate agreement between me and James Barr.
Right.
That's exactly what this is. It is performative bullshit.
No, it's performative outrage.
But it's by Disney and by Hollywood.
On your part.
Really? Why?
Yes, absolutely. Because this is a movie that was made in 1937 and is being remade in 2024. And you sit here moaning about the differences between those two movies, like 1937 were the glory days.
What?
Well, what are you talking about? Why are you offended by this movie? Why do you think people are not
Because they replaced the dwarves with CGI abominations. They are pretending like Rachel Ziegler is the first of them all when she looks like Lord Farquaad in the film. Somehow Gal Gadot,
so
who's
rude, Esther.
easily one of the top 10 most attractive women on the planet, is some evil, ugly stepmother, which she is not. I don't know how she burst out laughing.
Yeah, none
saying,
of it
who's
works.
the first of them all, and looking at Rachel.
The truth.
Yeah.
Let's bring in our two YouTube experts, because Critical Drinker, your YouTube video on the trailer has now been viewed nearly 2.5 million times. And you said the new dwarfs look is nightmare fuel. Can you explain that for us, please?
Yeah, so what they've obviously tried to do is retain the artistic aesthetic of the cartoon from the 1930s, but transpose it into a live-action movie, and it just looks horrific. It's so out of place. And when you see them dancing next to Rachel Zegler, who's an actual human actor, it just looks awful. They don't match up. They're deep into the uncanny valley. It is the worst possible choice they could have made. It would have been so much... It would be so much easier if they just used actual dwarf actors. I don't know why they haven't done that.
Why is no one offended about the new Lord of the Rings show on Amazon, where they have actors, non-dwarf actors playing dwarfs? Why are we not talking about that? Why is no one offended about that? Why are we just picking on Disney?
Well, I am now you mentioned it.
Yeah,
well, you should be.
There's room for outrage.
But there isn't, is there? You're just firing
I'm offended about the whole show,
Snow
personally,
White because they're trying to do something different.
Hey, man. You want to talk to me about Rings of Power? I will talk your ear off for hours, but like we're here to discuss Snow White, so what do you want me to say?
No, exactly. I want to bring in Nerdrotic, because what this is really about is the fact that the people who are most angry about this are not people like me who were saying, well, why the hell are they doing this? It's such crap. It was actual dwarf actors who rely on movies like this, which literally are about Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. They rely on that for really significant income. If you're a dwarf actor and you land a part in one of these movies, you make a lot of money. And yet suddenly it's been taken away from you. That's what incenses me on their behalf.
Yeah, not a lot of money. Life-changing money if you're a dwarf actor. I can't imagine there's many of those dudes out there, dwarf actors making millions of dollars per film, and they would have all made millions of dollars on this film. That's life-changing. Sprinkle a little bit of financial advisement on that, know what you're doing with your money, and you could be set for life or generationally if you play your cards right. Maybe not living in LA, but changing the dwarves to the magical 7 diversity hires who weren't even dwarves themselves, and this got all changed because of one big famous dwarf actor who made millions upon millions of dollars and became the most famous dwarf actor by playing a dwarf himself. And now when you look at the trailer, the CGI is so bad. One of the most beloved movies of Disney of all time, the movie that made the company, is now full of political messaging, virtue signaling, hypocrisy, celebrity preachiness, all shoved down an audience's throat. This is what Disney does these days. Preaching the message 24/7. Casting Rachel Zegler was just a bad idea to start with anyway. The lady hates the film, or the original one. As a rule, you shouldn't be hiring people who hate the source material of the movie you're making. The girl called it extremely dated, creepy, and weird. Do you not realize there's massive fans of Snow White out there? It's almost poetic to me that the film that changed the landscape of Disney back in the day, back in the 1930s, is going to be the film that's probably going to destroy it. Let's get back to the video.
You make a lot of money, and yet suddenly it's been taken away from you. That's what incenses me on their behalf.
Yeah, this is where political correctness paints itself into a corner every single time. You find yourself with very strange bedfellows in this. And it's not just the actors, it's Disney fans. Disney fans are offended by Rachel Zegler's comments disrespecting the movie that made Disney. And this is why there is 1 million dislikes on this trailer. And it's a culmination of creative bankruptcy. If this movie just existed on its own, it probably wouldn't be that much of a controversy. But if you add a singular Peter Dinklage interview that cost dwarf actors their jobs, and Zegler out there popping off and fanning the flames, along with everything Disney's done over the last 6 years, you have Snow White.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly the point.
But this is faux outrage.
James, here's my point, James. If you had a gay-themed movie, right, and it had potentially parts for 6 great gay characters, right? Say there was a book and it had 6 great gay characters in it. And there were lots of gay actors who would love to play those roles, right? And suddenly it was decided that that could not happen, that actually no gay actors would be allowed to play any of those roles. You would be on here leading the charge of outrage that gay actors were being deprived work when it was literally in their wheelhouse. And that's the argument which I don't think you're quite computing.
No, and I agree with you. I would be somewhat outraged, but I think there's something deeper going on here in that we're talking about stereotypes. I'm normally offended if a gay person misses out on a gay role, if a straight person is playing a camp, overtly gay stereotype.
Right, so why are you not upset for the dwarf actors?
Because I think what they're trying to do here is make it more inclusive. Plus, also remember,
it's not inclusive. It's a
original.
It's like
They're trying to.
They are literally
stereotypes.
They're literally excluding
This is why
dwarfs.
are we pretending that Hollywood is a fair place for actors?
It's not about that. But the thing is, they didn't even. Hold on.
The world
replaced
isn't
them
a
with
fair
cartoons.
place.
They were cartoons in the original film.
But they have a human actress. So they have a human actress dancing next to 6
But
green
how far do we
dummies.
go with this faux outrage? Are we going to say that in the movie Pets, all pets need to be actual animals?
Because
are we going to say that Yoda needs to be played by...
It's people like you that would be outraged that if an actor is not gay, you shouldn't play a gay role, when actors are literally paid to act. So how about we just let actors act? And if you're going to cast human beings as human roles, then you shouldn't replace them with CGI abominations and say, oh, by the way, this is
if a dwarf actor...
I don't know why you keep saying
I don't know why you keep saying
outrage.
It's a point.
Abomination.
It actually is an abomination.
There are so many CGI movies, and there are so many people that have played dwarves that have been... They've used CGI to do that, and no one's outraged. You're just outraged because Disney are trying to make the world a better place, and you want to live in 1937.
I can agree that I'm not somebody who cares if a straight guy plays a gay character or a gay man plays a straight character. They're actors. They get paid to do fake stuff all the time. The Lord of the Rings, which might be my favorite trilogy of all times. They were still real actors. They made them look like hobbits. I'm fine with that. Because of all the virtue signaling and all the hypocrisy and all the preachiness that Disney does about diversity and all this nonsense and equality, for them to not actually take the dwarf actors is complete nonsense. Just because the King Dwarf didn't want them to, just because that interview that he did, a man that he was in Narnia, he played in Elf, Peter Dinklage. He's made a career out of playing little people roles. I just don't particularly like CGI. I went to see the new Deadpool Wolverine movie, which I actually enjoyed. And if you've not seen it, you're not going to be culturally enriched by the story, but I'm closer to 40 than I am to 30. I was born in the 80s, raised in the 90s. Deadpool, Wolverine, these were characters that I read about when I was a kid. I used to read comic books. I enjoyed the first Deadpool movies. I went to see this one, and I really enjoyed the movie. It was just a great, fun movie. But the CGI, like the Wolverine arm CGI, I couldn't not see it. And when you watch a Snow White trailer, it just looks so bad. It looks soulless. It looks oversaturated. And it's like a cheap way to not do costume design or set design, just make everything CGI, and it just looks bad. Anyway, let's get back to it.
People that have played dwarves that have been, they've used CGI to do that, and no one's outraged. You're just outraged because Disney are trying to make the world a better place, and you want to live in 1937.
Nobody at Disney's making the world a better place, man. And I don't know why you keep using the word outrage. No one's outraged about this movie. People are laughing at it because it's a joke. It is a culmination of everything bad about modern movie making. You've got a movie called Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs that doesn't have dwarves in it. You've got the fairest of them all, who's put up against Gal Gadot, and somehow Gal Gadot is jealous of Rachel Zegler. And you've got a story about the search for true love that's no longer about true love. What even is this movie?
Exactly.
It's a hollow, vacuous joke.
And I can add one more. I'll let Nadrotic do this, because there's a leaked scene that was shown at the recent D23 reveals that the modern empowered Snow White won't even allow domestic labour being carried out by herself. Instead, she orders the dwarves to tidy up themselves, even when they've had a hard day down the mine.
It's their house.
I mean, Nadrotic, isn't this taking the whole virtue signalling stuff to a ridiculous degree?
Absolutely. If you want to remake the movie, just remake the movie in live action, note for note. It would probably be much better. But it's so obvious now because of the blight of intersectionality that's spread throughout our entire society that we can't have a woman holding a broom. Not that Rachel Zegler would know what to do with a broom other than fly on it, but I mean, that's what it is, and it's predictable, and it's what Drinker just said. It's nobody's outraged. It's mockery.
And we all know. We all know. I haven't seen it yet, but I would lay even money. The moment Prince Charming moves in for the kiss while she's asleep, he gets arrested.
Yeah, exactly. Immediately.
Right. I mean, he has
She
to
hasn't
be
given consent.
arrested and taken off to Harvey Weinstein's prison.
The original story is problematic. Why is everyone ignoring that? Why should a woman walk into seven blokes' house, right? Seven dwarfs' house, and clean it for them? It's their house. I don't care how long they've been working. Do the cleaning yourself.
Why should
they're letting her stay there?
They've been down a mine all day. Why isn't she down the mine?
Well, they shouldn't be, because mines
but hold on.
exist
What about gratitude and being a decent person? They're letting her stay there for free.
And by the way, how dare you stigmatise cleaning as a job?
I'm just saying that I think it's weird that you're all saying...
A lot of cleaners watching this show thinking, wow, really? You're saying that it's beneath a woman to clean?
No, I'm saying that everyone should clean, especially the person that owns the house.
Are you saying it's demeaning for a woman to clean a house?
That's
James,
not what I said.
I'm letting you know this now. If I ever let you live in my house for free, you are cleaning.
And just to make matters even worse, Critical Drinker, we then had Rachel Zegler, who'd already been gobbing off left, right and centre, causing endless problems. She then shared the trailer on social media and added Free Palestine. Despite the fact that her co-star, Gal Gadot, is Israeli. So you can imagine what that's done. That's just poured kerosene all over the place.
Does she even know where Palestine is?
The promotional tour for this movie is going to be wild, man.
Yeah.
When you get them two together.
I mean,
I don't know why she felt the need to do that. It's if there's one thing you want to do, particularly when you're someone like Rachel Zegler, who's already in hot water, just stay away from politics for a little while. Just try and promote your crap movie and try and salvage something from this mess. But I guess you just couldn't.
The odd thing is actually, Nadrotic, that Disney have just had a monster hit this summer, haven't they?
Yeah. Two. They've had two. They've had actually a pretty good year. If you think about it, Planet of the Apes, most with Fox properties, but Planet of the Apes did okay. Alien Romulus is doing pretty good. Inside Out 2 was the biggest movie of the year.
And you know what none of them
Deadpool
did?
And Wolverine is still crushing it.
Right, and none of them went down this stupid road. Right? In other words, when Disney just does what we want Disney to do, which is make great movies. I think Disney's a great company, historically a fantastic company, and it's done some great stuff this summer. Just do what you're good at. You don't need to do this stuff. If you just brought out a movie with Snow White and dwarf actors, everyone would have gone, great. That's the movie we want to see.
It wouldn't have been a problem.
No.
It wouldn't have been a problem. No, Disney helps fan the flames because they're so risk averse and they're so afraid of looking bad to one part of the audience. They don't give a crap about the majority of the audience who are just normal people who want to go and be entertained and escape.
Exactly.
They're so worried about their own people.
Yeah, it'll be a bomb. I can guarantee it.
Bro, when they talk about Snow White making the dwarves clean their house, these guys were mining all day. They show up and then they're being forced to clean their house. This just shows you the virtue signaling, or the message that Disney is trying to send, is that women are superior to men. Women good, men bad. In the original film, Snow White arrives at the dwarf's cottage. She initially thinks that they're orphan children, so she cleans the cottage for them in hopes that they will allow her to stay. Not just in hopes that they allow her to stay, but because she wants them to experience what it's like to have a mother that would care for them. Now they arrive home after a day of mining. They're not surprised that their cottage is clean. They have food on the table, because that would conform to some weird gender stereotype, but instead they find a woman there that instructs them how to clean their own home and dances around them and sings songs while they clean. She actually seems more like the evil, wicked stepmother than Snow White in this movie. This is not a film that, like the original, was a battle between kindness and vanity or love and hate, but a depiction of women are superior to men. Disney can only write one type of woman these days, and that is the strong female character. And by doing so, they ignore and shame an entire group of girls or young girls that may not want to be CEOs and leaders, but instead they dream of love and they dream of kindness, and they want to enjoy the more simple pleasures of life and be married and have a husband, have a boyfriend. This completely erases the character that young girls for decades looked up to. And it's an absolute abomination what Disney has become. Anyways, hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, consider smashing that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, help it grow. Catch you all in the next video. Peace out, everybody.